Good morning students, welcome in this class. This video is for class 8, subject Social Science. We are studying about History chapter 8, Women, Caste and Reforms. It is the third lecture of this chapter, and in today's lecture, topics to be discussed are first one, caste and social reforms, demands for equality and justice, Gulamgiri, who could enter temples, the non-Brahman movement, and in last, homework will be given to you. So let's start today's discussion. In today's discussion, our first topic is demand for equality and justice. Yes friends, as we have studied that Indian society was prey to many social evils like sati system, women discrimination, caste systems. So many these types of social evils were presented in Indian society, and we have studied about women discriminations and about the efforts of different social reformers, those who helped to improve the status of women in Indian society. Our today's lecture is that related to the caste inequality. As we know that caste inequality was also that great social evils which were presented in ancient time, and today also we see some cases where caste inequality is found. So now we will discuss about this demands for equality and justice. By the second half of the 19th century, non-Brahman caste began organizing movements against caste discrimination and demanded social equality and justice. Yes friends, as we have studied about that education system means in the colonial period, when many schools were opened in India and people started to get education, so these things means education helped to create awareness among the people about their rights, about their social status or self-respect. So when people started to get education, they started to raise their voice for their rights or for equality, and in which that many people, those who belong to low caste, means those who were non-Brahman. As we know that Brahman class or caste was considered the most important class, or that you can say respectful class in the society, and other people, those who were considered lower caste, they always faced discrimination, not given equal right, always dominated by the high caste people. So in this way means this non-Brahman caste or so-called lower caste, they started to raise their voice for their rights, and for that they started many movements, they founded many organizations. Now we will discuss about it. The Satnami movement was founded by Ghasidas, who worked as the leather workers and organized a movement to improve their social status. Ghasidas, who was he and what was Satnami movement? Actually Ghasidas was an untouchable, means belonged to lower caste, and that he belonged to cobbler caste of Bilaspur in MP. He launched the Satnami movement to oppose the caste system. He propagated that all men were equal and struggled to raise the social status of the cobbler caste. He laid down the concept of Satnam. Satnam means single god. He was against idol worship and consumptions of meat, drugs, liquid. And so after his death, his son Balak Das carried forward the work of Satnami movement. So the lower caste movement that took place in almost all parts of the India, with the passage of time, that this type of movement that spread in the southern part also. In eastern Bengal, Haridas Thakur questioned Brahminical texts that supported the caste system. Yes, Haridas Thakur was also a social reformer, and that he criticized the text which was written in ancient textbook and which shows that Brahman category or class superior, in which that Brahman were considered superior class. So Haridas Thakur criticized these textbooks, and he that criticized those textbooks which were in the favor of caste system or which supported the caste system. And another name, Shri Narayan Guru, he proclaimed that idols of unity for his people. He argued against treating people unequally on the basis of caste differences. Yes, Shri Narayan Guru, who was he? Actually, he was another great social reformer of South India. And he born in Kerala. He belonged to that Azova caste, and that was considered as untouchable caste, as he had closely experienced the demerits of the caste system in the early years of his life. So he constantly struggled for the upliftment of the backward classes, going against the norms of the society. He studied Sanskrit literature, and in 1903 Narayan Guru established the Shri Narayan Dharma, that is Paripalna Yugam, in and outside many places in Kerala. He also launched a 2-point program for the Azvoha. The first was to that refrain from the untouchability, to remove the untouchability for lower caste people, and second was to build a number of temples that would be open to people of all castes. And his party worked on the principle of one caste, one religion and one God. So understood about Narayan Guru? Yes. Our next topic is Gulamgiri. Yes friends, what is Gulamgiri? Actually, Gulamgiri is a book, written by Jyoti Rao Phule. So Miss Jyoti Rao Phule wrote a book, Gulamgiri. So who was this Jyoti Rao Govind Rai Phule? He was also a great social reformer of the Western India, and he struggled for the lower caste. He was born in 1827. 1827 at Pune in that Mali family. Means his father was a gardener. Mali family. And Jyoti Rao Phule received his education in the missionary schools. Once he was scolded by a Brahman for joining a marriage processions of Brahmins. So this incident changed the course of Jyoti Rao's life completely, and he dedicated his life to fight against untouchability and caste system. He openly criticized the superiority of the Brahmins. According to him, Brahmins were Aryans and considered as foreigner, came from outside the subcontinent and defeated and subjugated those who had lived here from before coming of the Aryans. Yes friends, who were Aryans? Actually, according to the Jyoti Rao Phule, or he believed that the Brahmins were actually foreigners. Means they were not the native of India. They said, or he proclaimed, or he told that Aryans were foreigner, means they were outsider, and they defeated the native, means which were considered lower caste people. So these outsiders, these Aryans, they defeated these peoples, native people of India, now those who so called lower caste. So he proclaimed that these lower caste people, those who were so called lower caste, these people, these were the original inhabitant or the natives of India. And he considered that Brahman who said them Aryans, they were outsider, they were warriors. They attacked on this lower caste people and defeated and subjugated them. So this was the you can say opinion given by the Jyoti Rao Phule about Brahman categories. Understood? So what he said? He said that Aryans who had established their rule in India by defeating the native peoples or the untouchables. So therefore he denied the Brahmanical claims to property and power. Phule said that the upper caste had no right to their land and power. Understood? So what he said? He said that these upper caste, those who were considered as Brahman caste, they were the outsider. So in this way they had no right on the land and the power in their own country or on the country of untouchables. Understood? So that's why he denied that Brahminical claims to property and power. Understood? Yes. He claimed that before Aryan rule, there existed a golden age when warrior peasants tilled the land and ruled the Maratha countryside fairly. Jyotiba educated his wife, and name of his wife was Savitri Bai Phule, so that she could teach the children of lower caste along with his wife. He started a school for the education of lower caste girl first. Miss Jyotirai Phule with his wife Savitri Bai Phule, that they founded the first girls school, first girls school for lower caste. Okay. And what he claimed? He claimed that before the Aryans, means before these Brahman categories, okay, they led a very happy and independent life. Okay. And means that age was golden age. They asked that before the arrival of the Aryan in India, that time period was the golden period of their life. Okay, when warrior peasants tilled the land and ruled the Maratha countryside fairly. Means before that there were no caste system. All people, whether they were the farmers, whether they were Kshatriyas, warriors, or the rulers Maratha, all lived in the country with unity. Okay, so there was very happy environment, peaceful environment. Okay, and Aryans came in India. Okay, they attacked on that untouchables, defeated them and subjugated them. And after the arrival of Aryan, that caste system, okay, that caste system that involved in Indian society. So this was claimed by the Jyotirai Phule in his book Gulamgiri. He proposed that Shudras and Ati-Shudras should unite to challenge caste discriminations. Okay, for that he asked that lower caste people, means Shudras or Ati-Shudras. Shudras were the people those who were involved in labor activities, and Ati-Shudras those who involved the cleaning work. Okay, so he asked those people, he asked all the untouchable to be united, okay, and to challenge the caste discrimination. This was there. Then he for that he founded Satya Sodhak Samaj, okay, and which propagated caste equality. Yes, Satya Sodhak Samaj. What was he? That Jyotiba found the Satya Sodhak Samaj in the 1873, and the main aim of this organization was to educate the lower castes and make them aware of their rights and powers. And the memberships of the organization was open to people of all religions. Jyotiba also expressed his anti-Brahmanical ideas in his two books. One is Gulamgiri and second one, that is Sarjanik Satya Dharma Pustak. Okay, so his that book Gulamgiri. In 1873, I told you that Phule wrote a book named Gulamgiri, meaning slavery. 10 years before this, the American Civil War led to the end of slavery in America. He dedicated his book to all those Americans who had fought to free slaves. Yes, friends. So what is mentioned, what is given in the Gulamgiri? So this book, means his book Gulamgiri, was dedicated to all those Americans of the American Civil War who fought for the abolition of slavery. Okay, he tried to establish that slavery was not acceptable anywhere in the world. American Civil War, what was it? Actually, as we know that in Indian society, caste system was there. And if we talk about the America, so there was also discrimination. That discrimination was based on race, black and white. Okay, so in that country, that black people always that discriminated or dominated by the white people. So at that time, that these American people, black people, they started, okay, a movement to make them free from this slavery system. So in the same way that Jyotirai Phule asked the Indian people, untouchables people, okay, to fight for their rights like the American black people. So he dedicated this book for those people, those American black people, those who have fought to free slaves. Phule was concerned about the plight of upper caste women, the miseries of the labor, and the humiliation of the low caste. Yes, actually he was not in the favor of any type of inequality, whether this inequality in men and women right or lower caste or upper caste. He also that you can say no. He also knew about that miseries lives of the labor class, ki how much type of problem they were facing in their life, and the humiliations of the low caste people also, means how much they were discriminated by the that high caste people. This was there. So all these things were mentioned by Jyotirai Phule in his book Gulamgiri. Who could enter temples? This is our next topic. As we know that in Indian society, that lower caste people were not allowed to enter in temple. They were not allowed to drag the water from the wells, okay, which were for the high caste people. So for that, some other people, you can say social reformers, those who that made efforts for the upliftment, or you can say to remove these types of inequality, caste inequality in the society. And now we will discuss about the people, you can say, who played an important role to remove this caste discrimination and open the door of the temples for all people, means for untouchables also. So now that person was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now we will discuss about it. In 1927, Ambedkar started a temple entry movement supported by Meher caste. Actually, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was born in the Meher caste that was regarded as untouchables. Since his childhood, he had faced the oppression of the caste system. When he grew up, he wanted to integrate the untouchables in the mainstream society by educating them and by exercise of legal rights. He organized mass campaigns and demanded for a separate electorate for untouchables. Or for that, Miss Ambedkar launched an untouchability movement in Maharashtra in 1920, and in 1924 he found the Institute for Depressed Classes, okay, in Bombay. And in 1927 he organized Samaj Samta Sangh, means all people are equal in society. Ambedkar led 3 such movements for temple entry movement between 1927 to 1935. Yes, so may say during this time between 1927 to 1935, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar started 3 temple entry movement. Okay, after that, means the untouchable were also allowed to enter in the temple. Understood about it? So that people, means that person played an important role to remove the untouchability from India. His aim was to make everyone see the power of caste prejudice within the society, means equal in the society. According to him, his main aim was that to provide equality to all people, whether they belong to any caste, or you can say to remove caste discrimination. Now we will discuss about the non-Brahman movement. Yes friends, so now people, you can say, could aware about their rights, about their status or self-respect. So the people, those who were considered, those who so-called lower caste people, okay, they started raise their voice against this Brahman class. Okay, so many movements were started by the non-Brahman class, means that for the lower caste peoples, for their rights or for equality. Now we will discuss about it. So the non-Brahman movement started initiated by those non-Brahman class that had acquired access to education, wealth and influence. Okay, means many movements started by the educated non-Brahman people. Okay, those who were rich, those who were educated, okay, those who were aware about their rights or about the rights of the other people. So means many movements were started by those non-Brahman educated or aware people for the equality or for the rights of the lower caste people. They argued that Brahmins were heirs of Aryans, invaders from the north who had conquered southern lands from the original inhabitants of the region and the indigenous Dravidian races. So, in their textbook, in their opinion and views, they criticize the Brahman category. Okay, those who consider themselves superior. Okay, and they criticized, they told that Aryans were not the original inhabitants of the India. They asked them or they called them outsider. Okay, they that proclaimed that they were outsider, they came from any other part of the country, from other countries, entered in India. Okay, they attacked on this that lower caste people, or you can say Dravidian families, and defeated and subjugated. They told that the people, those who were so called lower caste people, they were the original inhabitant of this area, means they were the indigenous Dravid races, means that they were the original inhabitants of that country, they were the original native of India. And so many other people were there, social reformers were there, that who made efforts to improve the Indian society, and in which one another name was there, that is E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, and also known as Periyar. Okay, so now we will discuss about that person, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar or Periyar, that joined Congress and left it when he found out that the lower caste were made to sit at a distance from the upper caste. What is there? Actually, the educated and wealthy non-Brahman personalities also played a leading role in opposing the superiority of the Brahmins. They believed that Brahmins of North India were actually the Aryans, invaders who had also conquered lands from the Dravidian races of South, and one such personality was E.V. Ramaswamy, who merged as one of the greatest social reformer of South India. He was also called Periyar, which means that the lofty one. Okay, Periyar was born in a middle class family in 1879. In the early years of his life, he had been and sent and studied the Sanskrit scriptures or books. He also joined the Congress as youth. In one of the meetings of the party, Periyar realized that the seats of the party member had been laid out according to the caste, means there were separate seating system for the lower caste and upper caste. Okay, so this filled his heart and mind with disgust and left the Congress in 1924. Understood about it? Yes, so this was about E.V. Ramaswamy. Periyar founded the self-respect movement and argued that untouchables were the true upholder of an original Tamil and Dravidian culture which had been subjugated by Brahmins. Yes, so one movement was started by that E.V. Ramaswamy, that was self-respect movement in 1925. So self-respect movement was started in 1925 that worked for awakening of the non-Brahmins. He regarded Hinduism as full of superstitions and criticized the ancient Hindu textbooks, the practice of wearing scared thread, laws of Manu and Bhagavad Gita and the Ramayana. Okay, actually, what was it? He thought that all these Hindu religious textbooks, they always, you can say, preferred or took favor of the man-dominated society. Okay, and Periyar, that he believed in the equality. So that's why that Periyar criticized all Hindu religious texts, whether it was Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana or the codes of Manu. According to him, that all these books, okay, that they were in the favor of, or you can say, these books supported to the caste discrimination and man-women discrimination. They always was in the favor of man-dominated society, and Periyar was in the favor of equality. So that's why that Miss Periyar criticized all these Hindu text religious or Hindu religious text. Okay. According to him, this text had been used to establish the authority of Brahman over lower caste and the domination of men over women. Already I have told you, means what was the opinion of Naikar or Periyar, that according to him, all this textbook that they established the authority, power of Brahman class over lower caste people, and these books also that show the domination of men over women. These assertions did not go unchallenged, which lead to rethinking and some self-criticism among upper caste nationalist leaders. But Orthodox Hindu society reacted by founding Satnam Dharma Sabha, Bharat Dharma Mahamandal in North, and association like the Brahman Sabha in Bengal. With the efforts of the social reformers, whether the Indian society improved, but the work of these social reformers were not unchallenged. They were criticized by the Orthodox Hindu. Orthodox Hindu means those who were critical Hindus or believed in Hindus religion or faith. Okay, so the efforts of these people were criticized by this Orthodox Hindu society. Okay, and they reacted by founding this type of organizations by these social reformers. The objective of this association was to uphold caste distinctions as a cornerstone of Hinduism and show how this was sanctified by the scriptures. Okay, friends. So this is bit about the chapter that how Indian society means that how many social evils were presented in Indian society, caste systems, sati systems, and with the efforts of the social reformers, that is many organizations who played important role to improve the status, okay, or to, you can say, improve the society, Indian society. And after the independence, that our constitution adopted the equality, right to equality, right to freedom. Okay, and due to the efforts of this, then we people are enjoying equal right in present time. But now also there is a need to change the thinking, narrow thinking of the people. Okay, and to provide, or you can say, equality to all people. Okay, whether men and women, whether lower caste or high caste. Okay, so this is about our chapter Women, Caste and Reforms. Now homework. First question, which social reformer was popularly called Periyar? What was the Satyasodak Samaj who had founded it? Question 3, who were Madigas? How did Jyoti Rai, the reformers, justify their criticism of caste inequality in society? Why did Phule dedicate his book Gulamgiri to the American movement to free slaves? What did Ambedkar want to achieve through the temple entry movement? So these are 6 questions. Answers of these questions you have to write in your fair notebook and submit it to me on my email ID. Now we will have a discussion on homework solution of lecture 2. First question, who published the book named S.Sc and what is it about? Tarabai Shinde, a woman educated at home at Pune, published the book S.Sc, a comparison between women and men, criticizing the social differences between men and women. Question 2. How did Widows' Home at Pune help the widows? Answer. Pandita Ramabai founded a widow home at Pune to provide shelter to widows who had been treated badly by their husbands' relatives. Here women were trained so that they could support themselves economically. Now question 3. Why were changes necessary in Indian society? Indian society had been a prey to many evils practiced for a long time. First one, most children were married off and at early age both Hindu and Muslim men could marry more than one wife. Second, in some parts of the country, widows were praised if they chose death by burning themselves on the funeral pyre of their husband. Third social evils, women's right to property were also restricted. Point 4. Besides, most women had virtually no access to education. Fifth, in most regions, people were divided along lines of caste. Brahmins and Kshatriyas considered themselves as upper caste. So the above mentioned social customs and practices made the changes necessary in Indian society. Next question, question number 4. How did women involve themselves in their upliftment? Yes, by the 1880s, Indian women began to enter universities. Some of them trained to be doctors, some became teachers. Many women began to write and publish their critical views on the place of women in the society. Anyways, Tarabai Shinde, a woman educated at home at Pune, published the book S.Sc, criticizing the social differences between men and women. Pandita Ramabai was the another name. He founded a widow's home at Pune to provide shelter to widows who had been treated badly by their husband relatives. By the end of the 19th century, women themselves were actively working for reforms. They wrote books, edited magazines, founded schools and training centers, and set up women associations. From the early 20th century, they formed political pressures group to push through law for females, suffrage means right to vote, and better health care and education for women. Actually, in the answer, I have explained the answer in details. You can took out the main points from this answer to make them understand that which efforts were taken by the women for their upliftment. I have given the answer in detail. Now question 5. What did Raja Ram Mohan Roy do the end of practice of sati? For that Raja Ram Mohan Roy started a campaign against the practice of sati. He was well versed in Sanskrit, Persian, several other Indian and European languages. He tried to show through his writing that the practice of widow burning had no sanction in ancient texts. By the early 19th century, many British officials had also begun to criticize Indian tradition and customs. So that's therefore more than that willing to listen to Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who was reputed to be a learned man. In 1829, sati was banned. Students, in this way our today's lecture is completed. Okay, tomorrow we will meet again with the summary lecture of the chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.